Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Please check it. Guys, please check it. All of you get my voice on screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, some of you are not joined with ID numbers like Ajay Kumar, Narayan Patil, CH Kalyan, Srinivas Rao, Shekhar, and then Kishore, Akil Khan, Shabana Asmin, and Mujaffar, Ramudu, then Prem Agarwal, Shabana Asmin. Guys, these members, just I'm removing your names now. Please rejoin with ID numbers. One time if you do that, then it will be okay. Automatically, the same thing will be happen there every time. Just I'm removing you, removing your names from the list now. Again, rejoin with that. Okay. Yeah, that's rejoin with that. All right. Have you executed all the programs on a Spring framework? Whatever the programs I have given there up to now. So theoretical points only, then small programs. So again, I'm telling to you, both the Servlets and Spring framework you are attending parallelly. Almost all the situation, that means the stages of these two topics are going on time. So similarities you may identify between both the courses. So because of that similarities, don't get confusion about this content here. In web.xml, that means in servlets we have web.xml file. In Spring we have Spring configuration file. So don't treat both are same and both are almost all similar. No, totally, completely different. So completely difference is available between both the courses now. So still in Spring framework we prepare standalone applications only. But by using servlets we are preparing what their web applications. Okay, lot of difference is available. So try to practice every day the content. Every day, both the classes. Of course, the servlets it seems somewhat interest at present, no? And compared with the Spring at present, I'm telling that. Okay, but it's not like that. Both the courses are having their own weightage. Give priority for both. So half an hour for servlets and half an hour for Spring. Then it will be completed. All right, sir. Now say this. So what we understand, I think we are discussing about beans in Spring applications. in beans in a Spring application, what we understood there, I given some few points about these beans and their configuration details. And bean configurations here we are discussing. Now tell me, overall, in how many ways we are able to provide beans configuration details to the IOC container? In 3 ways. Tell me what are the 3 ways now? First one is by using what there XML configurations. Second one is what there by using Java based configurations, and third one is what there by using annotation based configurations. Observe carefully, all of you know. So already we started what configurations there. Already we started what configurations there. XML configurations already we started. All right, sir. So if you want to provide bean configuration through XML file, so we need to use some tags. What are the various tags here we have to use there? First we have to use what there beans tag here we have to use. Got it or not? Here we have to use what there beans. Inside this beans tag, for every bean here we have to write like what there bean tag. Alright, so bean ID is equal to like something and name is equal to something, where class is equal to something and scope is equal to something. Where already we have given information ID attribute is able to take an identity for the bean object. Name attribute is able to take like what there an identity value for the bean object. That means in other words the same identity we can say some name, that means alias name, we can understand it now. Anyway, observe carefully what I am telling to you. After this, here the point is like what there, what is the difference between ID attribute and name attribute? That's the point now. There are given some point here. By using ID attribute, we are able to provide a single identity for the bean object. But by using name attribute, more than one identity here we are able to provide. Got it or not? More than one identity here we are able to provide. All right, sir. More than one identity we are able to provide for what their bean. In the case of like what their name attribute here. Got it or not? I'll show practically all the points I'm able to show there. But in the difference I'm telling there, in a bean configuration, I'll provide more than one identity value to the bean object by providing either comma or semicolon or space as a separator. One small note I'm telling to you, observe carefully. One small note I'm giving there. Now try to observe carefully. What is the note here? If we provide more than one value to name attribute, if we provide more than one value to name attribute, then the first value is treated as the actual identity for the bean, and all the remaining values are treated as alias names, duplicate names. For the identity, first name is original identity, remaining things are what their alias names. Yes sir, got it or not? Alias names for the beans, alias names for the same first identity. So either we can use alias name or we can use like what their original identity. Finally we are able to get what their respective bean object. All right, sir. So then I shown only theoretically all the possible cases here I have written there, but now we are going to see each and every point with practical. Okay, now let's see this one. So I think already we have a program in the last session, right? Already we had a program there. Now let me open that program, or else we can create a simple program here. Then if we create a program there, we can do that exercise, whatever the exercise here I want to do there, everything here we are able to provide. At least we may see some practice there. We may get some practice by seeing these programs now. And one more thing I'm telling to you, it's not mandatory to use IntelliJ IDEA. If you're comfortable with Eclipse IDE, we can use. But anyway, we have an option to use IntelliJ IDEA. There we can go with IntelliJ IDEA. That's okay. That's a different case. No, not this one. This is another batch. So now I want to create a project. Now inside this, now let me go for the location. Right, so now this is not this like this. Now I have to go with some other D drive. Spring 830 IntelliJ IDEA. Already we created 5 applications. Now I want to create app06. Again, check it. If you are not aware about this programming previously, if you have not done any practice over it, now try to check this again. No, we are preparing projects with this. Right, son. Then, if possible, very soon I'll conduct one test up to some particular topic, written test. I'll conduct there. So be ready with that. So try to practice every day. Right, try to understand the concepts. Definitely, I'll plan to. I'm going to conduct some test on the Spring framework up to some topic there. I'll give intimation for it, but when I'm going to conduct it and what I'm going to include the test now. But anyway, we are going to see one test. All right, sir. Now, right click on SRC. Then first of all, what we have to create there? Bean here. We have to create a, and before that, we need to add a library or not. Have we created any library for it? Have we created any library? Yes, we created this. Now, select the project now. Control F4. Sorry. F4. Simply F4. Yeah. If we click on this simple F4, automatically this page we are able to get open module settings that we are able to get. There we have to open with what their dependencies. Click on what their plus. There what we have to select their library. Already we created what library? Spring 5 library. Now select this add selected. Then here we are getting it apply and OK. That's it. Spring library is available to us. Next one is let me prepare. Right click on this SRC new package. Here I need to create. What is the package name here? We want to provide there com dot Durgasoft dot. Just I want to create what there beans. Beans is a package name. Right. So select it. Now inside this I want to create a bean class. What bean class here I want to create there? A simple bean class here I want to create now. Try to understand this. Now this will be like what there? Wish. My bean name is what there? Wish. For example, wish bean class here I want to prepare. Now inside this wish bean class, what I want to do there, observe carefully. All right, sir. Now here I want to provide something else, some wish message here I want to prepare. So there I want to take like what there private string name, private string name, then username I want to take. No, next one is like what there private string wish message. All right, so now these are the two things here I'm going to take. There I required what there setters and getters. No, alt insert, then we are able to get this part here. There we can select what the setters and getters, select all and click on enter button, finish. All setters and getters here we are getting. Got it or not? Next one is what there. Then after that I need to provide some business method. What is that? My business method here I want to provide public void. Then what we want to take there, say wish for example, or something else. Here I need to prepare some message here now. Instead of this void here, I want to take like what there a string. A string here I want to take. No. Now here, first of all here I want to take like what there string message is equal to. I need to prepare the message. What is that message? You know, hello. Just I want to provide like what there hello plus name plus I want to say some message, wish message, you know, plus what that one wish message. I want to take it. This is my message, no? Then I want to return this message. Got it or not? Now here I need to provide this wish message here. What message is going to be provided? What exactly the message here we are going to be generated here that I want to prepare clearly. Got it or not? All right, sir. Observe carefully. Right, sir. Now I will give some initial message. What is that initial message I want to provide in the XML file there? Say something else. Good morning, some Durga and good morning. Here we want to provide. All right, sir. Now observe carefully. Then what next one here after completion of this? All right, sir. All right, sir. Then what next one here after completion of this? Now here I have some small logic kind of thing I want to implement. What that logic? Anyway, this is somewhat different application, but our context. Otherwise, do one thing. I want to give some later. I will implement that application. But first of all, let me talk about configuration details and all. All right, sir. This is the point here I'm telling to you. Leave this one. Next one is what there. I need to prepare what there. We have to prepare configuration file. Tell me. You only tell me how I'm going to prepare this configuration file now. Come on, how I'm going to prepare this configuration file? First of all, let me prepare one folder or not. Right click here. Then what next one? New. What we have to prepare there? Directory. What is the name of the directory? Or resources. Just up to now it is a folder only. But I have to make it as a resource folder or not? To make it as a resource folder, then what we have to do there? F4. Select the project and F4. If we go to the tab of 4, there we have to select what their sources. Inside this, we have to select what their resources folder. Then what we have to select their resources. That's it. Automatically, this is becoming as what their resources now. Apply and OK. Now here we are getting resources. Got it or not? There we have to prepare our XML files. Right click on it, new. Then here we have to prepare XML by taking what their file. In the case of Eclipse, directly XML file option is coming there. Now in the case of this here, we are getting what their file. What is my file here now? Tell me. Spring config .xml. Spring config.xml that we have to provide. Now inside this, we need to provide like what their XSD. So we know already from where we are able to get this XSD. No, all right. So here we are able to get XSD from E drive. Inside the E drive softwares. Now inside this we have to go for frameworks. In my system, there only I downloaded that Spring framework 5.3.9. Then inside these docs here we have to go with what are the references, HTML or maybe PDF, whatever it may be. There we have to click on what are there core module. Inside this core here, what we are able to get there. Right. So now this we are getting there. Now simply scroll down there. Somewhere else we are able to get the total XSD. In the example here, we are getting this XSD. All right. So just copy this and use this in our document. That's it. Not required to remember this total part here. That's okay. Now tell me. You only tell me what is the basic configuration here we have to provide there. The basic configuration here we have to provide for bean class or not. Bean configuration now here we have to use that bean tag. Inside this bean tag, what I have to use there? ID. First of all, let me check with ID. Then after that, I will go with different things. Next one is ID. One ID value here I have to provide. What is that ID value here? No, wish. Now here I need to provide what is their class. Then what we have to prepare there? No, wish. There is a class actually. Wish. Directly here we can provide this. Just type that class name and click on control space. Automatically it's a full class name here we are getting. That's okay. Then after that, we need to define some properties or not. What properties here we have to define their property. Name is equal to, what is this name? No, name. Value here, value is equal to, what is the value here we want to provide there? Something as Durga. All right, so next one is like what their property. Name is equal to, what is the name here we have to provide there? Wish message. All right, so then value is equal to, what we have to provide there? Good morning. That message here we want to provide. That's it. All right, so now bean configuration is completed. Next we have to go with the main.java. Insert the main.java. Then what object here I have to create there? Okay, depends on your requirement, either bean factory or what their application context. Already both we completed here, but max level we are going to use what their application context. Why? Because bean factory is somewhat outdated. There we have to use what their application context. Everybody understand this clearly? All right, so now this will be like what their application context is equal to new. What we have to provide there? Class path XML application context. There we have to provide what their Spring configuration file. What is the name of the Spring configuration file? Spring config. Okay, Spring config dot XML. String here we have to provide. Inside the double quotation only we have to provide this, otherwise it will not come. Spring config.xml. Right, sir. Then why I am providing only the name of the file without providing location? It's already we have taken what there class path XML application context. So it will check spring config.xml in the class path. So with respect to this present project, which folders are available in the class path? No, SRC is available. Apart from this SRC, what next one? Resources. All resources and the source folders are available inside what there class path. So directly it will get that spring config.xml from what there class path. Got it or not? Right. Next one, after that, I need to get a bean object or not? Right, so now let me get this bean object, no? And how we are going to get this bean object here, wish, wish is equal to application context dot get bean method. Observe carefully. Previously, we got this get bean method with a string parameter, where it is no get bean with a string. Yeah, here it is available. There we have to write like what the wish. There we are able to get it. Then what we required, sir, here typecasting is required or not? Typecasting is required or not? Okay, now here we are getting what there typecasting here now. Then after that we can call like what there system dot out println of so wish dot and say wish that we are able to get. And then we are able to get our output. Of course, getting output is nothing very simple. Easily we are able to get output here as we have seen this program there already. So output here we are able to get it. No, that's not the matter here. Again, it is taking much time. Okay. All right, so now here we are getting that output like what there. Hello, Durga. Then good morning. The data here we are getting there. Okay, nice. Right, sir. Up to this is okay, fine. That we are getting there clearly. Clear? Now, understand it. Displaying a wish message. Okay, it's okay then. It's not the mandatory point here for us, no? Okay, first of all, let us check this now. In the configuration file, what I have used there, ID attribute we have used. In place of ID attribute, I want to use what there, name attribute, or else maybe ID attribute only here I want to use. But here what I want to provide there, wish one. Observe carefully, space wish two, space wish three. I thought of it, multiple values I provided. Now at least inside our main class, if I provide wish one, out of this wish one, wish two, wish three, wish one is one value or not? I want to try with this wish one, whether we are able to get this wish object or not on the base of the wish one. Let me check it. What will happen now? Try to check this. We are able to get output or not. Right, here we are getting an exception. See, in Spring, every exception is giving a proper meaning for us. A clear-cut meaning we are able to get from exceptions in Spring framework. Let's see this here. We are getting an exception here. What is that exception here we are getting there? No such bean definition exception. No bean named. What there? Which one? Very clear information we are able to get. When compared with other technologies, Spring is providing the error messages also in a very understandable manner. So no bean named wish one available. That is in a Spring configuration where no bean is existed with the wish one. So what is the meaning of it? No. So they are not. Here we provided three values. No, wish one, wish two, wish three. All these three are not taken as a three identities. No, all three together as a single identity. It was taken. It has taken all three as a single identity. No. So where if it is a case, no, like in which way we have to access this one as it is wish one, wish two space, wish three. We provided like this. Then we are able to get it. Let's check this clearly. Now here we are able to get the output in this way. Right, sir. Now here we are getting an output. So what is the meaning of it? Now tell me here. How many ID values we provided for ID attribute? No, is that three values or one value? Only one value, not three values. No, only one value. The same value we have used in our get bean method. Then we are getting it. Now, got it or not? Now again here I am telling to you. Observe carefully. For example, here I am providing comma. I am providing comma. In this case, is it providing three identities or one identity? I want to check it now. Again here, let me save this. Now I want to go with that. Now here, inside this main.java, now here, I want to provide with like what there, only wish one. Here I want to use now. Let me check it again. Now here we are getting exception. No bean definition exception. So no bean named which one available that we are getting there. That's okay, fine. Next, observe carefully. So it's not possible. Now in the main.java, what I am telling there, wish one comma, wish two comma, wish three. If we provide there, we are able to get output again. Right, sir. Now tell me here, what is this actually? Is it three identities or single identity? Single identity only. Observe carefully. This is what their single identity. All right, now last one. I want to show this another one again. Observe carefully. Now here, in place of this semicolon, I want to provide semicolon. Now in this case also, it's not like three identities. It's like single identity only. Here we are getting some exception here. So no been named which one, like this here we are able to get some exception. Okay, if you see that one here, easily we are able to get no been named which one available. That's okay. Then here we have to provide wish two semicolon wish three. So with ID attribute we checked all these things, but with name attribute I want to see what's going to be happen here. I want to check with what their name attribute. It's okay, fine. Leave this one. Now in my Spring configuration file, without using this ID attribute, now here I want to use with what their name attribute. Name is equal to, just I want to provide something else like what their wish. Name attribute, just I've used it there now. In main here, what I want to use there, simply I want to use wish. No changes in our program there, only in the configuration file we changed it from what there, what to what there, and different values to wish, directly only wish. Here I provide it. Now let me execute this. Definitely here we are able to get an output here. Right, here we are getting this output. That's okay, fine. Next one is, now with the name attribute I want to provide multiple values. What are the options? Can know wish one space wish two space wish three, like this here we provided. Wish one space wish two space wish three, like this here we provided. Observe carefully. Now here in main.java, here we need to provide wish one. Now here, for example, here I want to take like what there wish one. Got it or not? And here also I want to take like what there wish one. All right. Now similarly, like this, I want to take like what there three. Now okay, we can understand. Now this is like what there wish two. This is like what there wish three. Here I want to take these variables also. Now this is like what there wish two, and system outed println of wish two dot say wish. Now this is like what there wish three. Here I want to provide like what there wish three. Observe carefully. I'm trying to get that bean object on the base of three values, wish one, wish two, and wish three. Got it or not? All the three values here we provided. Now we have to check it. Three times we are getting output or not. If three bean object, that means if three objects are not generated there, of course, same object or different object, that doesn't matter. But we are getting that bean objects on the base of the ID or not, individual ID or not. Three outputs here we are getting there. It means that multiple ID values we provided for single bean or not. Multiple IDs here we provided with a single bean or not. This is one option. Space is one option here. Next one is a comma I want to use. Comma I want to use. Now let us check this here. Comma, if I use no, just try to execute this. There we are able to get like what there multiple values. If we are getting multiple values and multiple outputs here, we are getting same output three times here we are getting. Okay, now comma is working. Next one is what there semicolon. Here we have to check. Semicolon. Here we have to check. In the semicolon, here we are able to get the data. That's it. Again, here we are getting same output here like this. So multiple IDs are possible in this case. Now tell me, multiple values be provided to the name attribute or not? Multiple values are provided to the name attribute or not? Out of these multiple values, only one is identity and the remaining things are what their alias names. Yes, sir, got it or not? So which one is identity and which things are alias names? Now tell me. Which one is what their identity? Which two, which three are what their alias names? Am I right or not? Okay, these things here we are able to understand clearly. Right, sir. Nice. But I have a question now. Almost all the cases here I shown there. Whatever the cases here I provided now, everything I provided here. But I have a question now. What's my question here? All of you observe carefully. Is it possible to provide both ID attribute and name attribute for a single bean in a bean configuration file, in a Spring configuration file? Have you understood my question here? Understand this question? No? What is my question here? Is it possible to provide both ID attribute and a name attribute for a single bean in a Spring configuration file? Right. Anyway, answer for this question is what there? Yes, it is possible to provide both ID attribute and name attribute for a single bean, in a Spring configuration file. Where, okay, it's possible there, where ID attribute value is the actual identity and the name attribute value is treated as ID attribute value is treated as the actual identity for the bean, and the name attribute values are treated as alias name to the bean object. Yes, sir. Both if we provide their ID attribute value is what their actual identity, name attribute value is what their alias names. That we can understand it clearly. All right, sir. Now let's see this one. Some example case here I'm telling to you, by that you are able to get it clearly. Previously I shown some cases no that I want to represent. Right, sir. Now here I want to provide, like, first of all what I want to provide there, ID is equal to, just I want to provide like what there, something else, hello we can take now. ID attribute is what there, hello. Name attribute is what there, maybe one or more we can provide there, but ID attribute hello, that is what their actual identity. Remaining names hello 1, hello 2, hello 3 are what there, all these are what their alias names. Now understand my point here? Now here we can specify like this. Now here I want to provide hello, then hello is equal to application context dot get bean of, there we can use like further hello. This is also be valid. Here we are able to get. This is valid or not? All right, sir. Now all the remaining things are like what they're valid, but in this case now this is like what I'm telling there, no, invalid. This is invalid. Directly providing like this is what they're invalid, as we're having this name attribute anyway. So hello, all the things here we are able to get. Anyway, this is not required for us. Leave this one here now. Yes, sir, got it done. Right, sir. So this is about the content here now. Now let us check in our program there. Now here what we are going to take there, name attribute is available like this. Now here I want to provide like what their ID attribute. Now here I need to provide like what their wish. Now in the program, in the application, what I'm going to take now, I'm going to take this But now here I want to use like what their wish. Now here also I want to provide like what their wish. And here I want to provide like what their wish. Alright, observe carefully. How many times we are calling this a save wish method? No, 4 times. 4 times we are calling this save wish method. Then 4 outputs here we are expecting. We are expecting how many number of outputs there? 4 outputs. Like this here we are getting. This is an example here how we are able to get the details about this content here, that we can understand clearly. Both we provided here. Anyway, in our document I have given this example. I think this example is not required. The similar part I shown there. Yes. You want to keep that, I will keep in the document. Right? You want to keep that? Not required. The very same example here. Alright, that's okay, fine. But understand one more point here. Understand one more point. In a Spring configuration file, we are able to provide alias names to the beans explicitly by using alias tag. Yes, sir, got my point or not? By using what there? Alias tag. In the Spring configuration file, we are able to provide alias names to the beans explicitly by using what the alias tag. Example I'm telling you, try to understand this. Anyway, I'll give this example now. For this I will show that example. So, but first of all, here what we have to take there? Beans slash beans. Inside this beans here, what we are able to provide there? Bean ID is equal to something else, like here I want to say with what there? Hello. Right or not? Now next one is like what there? Class is equal to com dot Durgasoft dot beans dot hello. For example. Now I want to provide alias names for it. How we are going to provide alias names there? Just we have to use alias. Alright, then what next one here? Name is equal to, alright, we need to provide some name, something else like what there? Hello one, comma, hello one, hello. That means hello. Alias is equal to, again tag name is also be like what there? Alias. There we have to provide there we have to provide what there? Hello one. Now here, what is that original ID and what is the alias name there? Hello is the original identity and hello one is what there? Alias name. So here in the context here, what we are able to do there? Hello and hello one. On the basis of these two, here we are able to get the values. On the basis of this hello and hello one, we are able to get the values. In this way here we are able to define what their alias names. Got it or not? Let me check this now. Let me check this. If anything is wrong, then I will modify this. Now here in our context here, what I am telling to you. Now in a Spring configuration file now, observe carefully. Just name attribute here I want to remove. Just what we have there, ID is equal to wish. That's okay, fine. Now inside this, I need to define like what there alias tag is available that we want to provide. Okay. Now here, understand this name here I want to provide like what there wish. Alias is what there wish one. Observe carefully. Now original is what there wish. For this wish, what is the alias name there? Wish one. Observe carefully. For alias, again I want to create alias now. For wish one, I want to create what there wish two. Possible or not possible? Next, one more time. For wish two, I want to create what there wish three. Understand it? For each and one, we are able to create what there alias names. For wish, alias name is what there wish one. For wish one, alias name is what there wish two. For wish two, alias name is what there wish three. So by using all these four, we are able to read the data. By using all this now, we are able to get the data. Am I right or not? All right, sir. Alias names are almost equal to identities only, but duplicate names. That is also be possible in a Spring configuration file. Now tell me, here we are getting wish one, wish two, wish three. In all the cases here, I'm trying to use. Let me execute this program. All 4 times here we are getting output or not? So this is also be possible. Now here in the diagram here, just I want to go for what there. Bean name is equal to something, alias is equal to something. Where name attribute will take name attribute will take the bean identity which you have already defined in a Spring configuration file. Right, sir. Now it will take like what there in the Spring configuration file, where the name attribute will take the bean identity which you have already defined in the Spring configuration file. This is one point. Next one is like what there alias attribute, where alias attribute will define alias name for the bean identity. All right, and example here are given there. Apart from this example, right, sir. I want to paste this example also as per our requirement. I want to give even this example also. Now say this. All the content here I want to provide. Now, first of all, wish.java. Anyway, I prepared this example. Now let me have it. That's okay. Next one is like what there. Spring config.xml. Spring config.xml. Main.java. Right. So overall, the total content is completed there clearly. Now, leave this. After this, after completion of this, what next one here we have to write now. Malaya stack we wrote bean tag. Anything is wrong? Okay, alias, right. Right, sir, that's okay. All right, so then how to prepare alias names also here we understood clearly. That's okay. Then after that, the next point here, what I'm telling there, scopes for the beans in a Spring configuration file. Scopes for the beans in a Spring configuration file. How we are able to provide scopes for the Spring configuration file now. First of all, what is the meaning of these scopes? Understand this. This is one of the important topic in core module of the Spring framework. Now try to understand it. Right, sir. Now tell me, in a J2SE applications, I'm asking there, in a J2SE applications, to define scopes, what exactly the access modifiers here we are using there? In core Java, I'm asking there, public, protected, of course, default and private. 4 scopes are available. Tell me, what is this private actually? Private members are having scope up to what there? Up to the respective class. What is this default scope now? Up to the present package. Right, sir. What is the protected? Up to the package plus child classes in other packages. Then what is this public now? Throughout our application or throughout our content here. That's okay, fine. So this is exactly the meaning of like what there, the meaning of like scopes in a normal Java J2SE programming. Similarly, in Spring applications, we are able to define scopes to the beans. Similarly, in Spring applications, we are able to define scopes to the beans. How we are able to define scopes to the beans? What is the meaning of scopes to the beans? No, nothing. Very simple. I want to create bean object for what? I want to create a bean object up to what? If we come for this point here, understand this point here. For every request for the bean, I want to create a new bean object. For a particular bean definition in the Spring configuration file, I want to create only one bean object. Or else, if it is a web application, Spring web module we are using there to prepare web application. For every incoming request, I want to create a bean object. For every context object, I want to create a bean object. For every session object, I want to create a bean object. For every portlet lifecycle, I want to create a bean object. Sir, got my point or not? And for every WebSocket, there is another content here. I want to create a separate bean object. So, how many number of bean objects we want to create for a particular bean configuration? Right, that depends on which factor. So, to define all these things, we need to go for what there scopes for the beans in a Spring configuration file. Now, understand it here. Now, anyway, we are able to understand clearly. In Spring applications, we are able to define scopes to the beans by using scope attribute, by using what there scope attribute in a bean config, that means in a Spring configuration file. Scope attribute in bean tag. Scope attribute in what there bean tag in a Spring configuration file. All right, sir. Next one is, what are the various scopes are available in the Spring framework? To define scopes to the beans, Spring framework has provided the following scopes. What are the various scopes here? The first one is like what there? Singleton scope. What is the first one? No, singleton scope. Next one is prototype scope. Right. The first one is what there? Singleton scope. Next one is what there? Prototype scope. Third one is request scope. Third one is like what there? Request scope. After this, after completion of this request scope, no. Next one is like what there? Application scope. Application scope. Next one is what there? Session scope. Session scope. After this session scope, there we can understand global session scope. Global session scope. Next one is WebSocket scope. WebSocket scope. That's it. These are the 7 types of scopes are available in Spring applications. Tell me, sir, what are the various scopes are available? Singleton scope, prototype scope, request scope, application scope, session scope, global session scope. Then what next one here? WebSocket scope. Clear or not? Out of these 7 number of scopes, no. Only first 2 types of scopes are supported in a core module. In a Spring core module, only we are going to see what there 2 types of scopes in a standalone applications. Remaining scopes are going to be utilized in web applications. Spring web module. By using web module, we are going to prepare what there web application. There we are able to see all the remaining scopes. But only 2 types of scopes are possible in the case of this core module. Even now also we are going to discuss about what there first 2 types of scopes only, but remaining scopes are not required. But still one statement I can give for each and every scope. No? Then after that we'll see the practical only 2 types. Only 2 types at present in our context. Let's see what is the purpose of each and every scope here. What is the purpose of each and every scope? Now try to understand it here. First one is like what there? Singleton scope. It's available. What is this actually? What is the meaning of this singleton here? What is the meaning of this singleton scope? No, I will give clarity. Now try to understand it. It will create one bean object. It will create one bean object for every. It will create a single bean object. a single bean object for every bean definition in a Spring configuration file. Right, sir. What is the singleton scope there? Now tell me. It will create a single bean object for every bean definition in the single Spring configuration file. Example I'm telling to you. Hello bean I defined in my Spring configuration file. Hello bean I defined in a Spring configuration file. In my test application with the same hello identity, 10 times I called get bean method. 10 times I called what method here? Get bean method. Means that 10 times I request for the container to get a bean object. Right or not? even though we call 10 times now, if the scope of the bean is a singleton, if the scope of the bean is singleton, only one object will be created. Same object reference value will be written 10 times. I got my point or not? So 10 times if we request for a bean now by using get bean method, all 10 times we are able to get the same reference value, but only one bean object is created for a definition. In a Spring configuration where for bean definition, only one bean object will be created. Got it or not? Now this is exactly the meaning of what there singleton scope. All right, sir. Then what next one here? What is this prototype scope actually? Prototype scope. What is this prototype scope actually? Observe carefully. It will create a separate new bean object, a separate new bean object for every request of the bean. That is, for every call of get bean method, for every get bean method call, for every get bean method call. Understand this? No, I configure a bean, a single bean in the Spring configuration file. Okay, but scope I provided is what their prototype now. 10 times I called get bean method for the same bean object. 10 new objects are created. Every time call of get bean method, a new object difference is provided. Got the difference here? Singleton and what their prototype. Even in core Java also with singleton design pattern I explained to you. I discussed it with you. Singleton design pattern we understood there. What is the meaning of singleton now? For a class, only one bean object. For a class, for bean class, only one bean object. That's the meaning of singleton class. Am I right or not? But in the case of this Spring framework now, for a bean definition inside the Spring configuration file, one bean object. That is the meaning of what there singleton. But here, what is the meaning of this prototype here now? What is the meaning of this prototype here now? The meaning of prototype is every time call of get bean method. Every time call of get bean method, a separate bean object will be created. Got my point or not? Obviously, we are going to provide only one time configuration in the Spring configuration file. But we are calling 10 times that bean get bean method. 10 objects are going to be created. This is the meaning of like what their prototype scope now. Of course, in a core module, in our discussion also, we require to go for only these two, no? But remind things also, I want to give some demonstration. Understand it? Then what next one here after completion of this, no? Next one is what their request scope. Request scope. All right, sir. Then what is this request scope here? Simple. It will create a single, it will create a separate bean object. It will create a separate new bean object for every request. For every request, it will create a separate bean object for every request. All right, sir. Next one is offer this. Offer this request scope, no? Application scope. It will create a separate new bean object. It will create a separate new bean object for every servlet context object. I think today we understood a little bit about this servlet context object. It will create a separate new bean object for every servlet context object. Means that for every web application. For servlet context object in the sense what their web application level. For every web application, a separate bean object will be created. This is like what their application scope. Now. That means for every servlet context object, a separate bean object will be created. This is like what their application scope. Next one is after this application scope, then what next one can know session scope. Right, sir. What's the meaning of it? No, it will create a separate new bean object for each and every session object. I think you're not aware about this session object there in Servlets. There is a concept like what there session. Session is available for every user. A separate session will be created in web application. That for every session object, that means for every user, a separate bean object will be created. That is the meaning of like what their session scope. All right, sir. Then after that, after completion of this, then what next one? No? All right, sir. Global session scope. Global session scope. All right, sir. It will create a separate new bean object for every portlet life cycle. In which way we are having servlets, no? In the same way, portlets are available in a different context, not required for us anyway, but concept is available. That's why I'm giving this definition. No? In which way we are having servlets as a web component. Similarly, portlets are available in might be some other language or some other context. For every portlet life cycle, for every portlet, a separate session of bean object will be created. That is like what their global session here. Next one is after that WebSocket scope. WebSocket is also another concept. WebSocket is also what there another concept, right? It will create a separate bean object for every WebSocket lifecycle. For every WebSocket lifecycle. So these are all the points here what we understood clearly. All right, sir. Now try to understand this clearly. Anyway, each and every point I have given clarity, but not required to think about it. Only at present we have to think about only two. What are the two things? You know, first one is what there singleton scope, and second one is what there prototype scope. What is the meaning of this singleton scope? No. For every bean definition in the Spring configuration file, a separate bean object, a new bean object will be created. Even though if we call get bean method 100 times for that bean object, only single object is created, the same object difference value will be written. But in the case of prototype, what happened there? No. In the case of prototype, then what happened there? No. So even though we defined single bean in a Spring configuration file, but every request, for every request of bean, a separate bean object will be created. If we call 10 times get bean method, 10 objects will be created. Got it or not? Right, sir. Now people are asking to me like what their page scope. Page scope. Right, sir. The page scope is available in JSP actually. In JSP also some scopes are available. Where like what their page scope, request scope, then like what their different session scope, application scope. These are 4 types of scopes are available in JSPs. That page scope is available what their JSPs. Not here, not in the case of the Spring, no, not possible here, no. Right, sir. So request and get bean, are they both same? No. See, I said you clearly that request session, application, global session, and WebSocket, all these things will be utilized in a web module. Web module in web applications, not here. In the core module, we are not going to talk about them. Just we are going to talk about only that singleton and as well as like what their prototype. Only in these two cases only we are going to use the bean components. Right or not? Right, sir. Where we are able to use singleton and where we are able to use prototype, no. Then specific situations here we are going to discuss there. But as of now, you're in our understandable level, if you want to discuss there, when we go for MVC based application, where controller classes should be singleton classes. In MVC based applications, controller classes should be what there? Singleton classes. Controller, front controller is available. It should be a singleton. Where definitely we have to use what there? A singleton component here. So like this here, we are able to have some situations there. No need to think about it. But first of all, let us prove these scopes there. Let's prove this is a singleton scope here. I want to show one example here. Now try to understand this. Here itself, I'm going to provide here in the same example. Now here, observe carefully. Okay, these many alias names are available. Even I don't require these alias names. No, only this one. Now here, ID is equal to which I provided. Now here, I want to provide like what their scope. Scope is equal to what values here we are able to provide their singleton. What is the value I provided here? Singleton. What is the meaning of it now? What is the meaning of it now? For this bean definition, only one bean object here we are able to get or not? All right, so that's okay. Now in the main.java, always I want to use like what their same wish, same wish. Tell me guys now, do one thing. Now in place of this, then what I want to display there, directly reference value here I want to display. Or reference value here I want to display. When we display the reference value there, we can understand easily same object is created or multiple objects are created. Same objects are created, multiple objects are created. There we can see what their reference values. On the basis of the reference values, here we can identify this. All right, so now wish one, wish two, wish three. All three times we have to get same reference or not? As per the singleton scope, all three times here we have to get same scope or not? All right, so now let us see this one. Tell me, sir, same reference or any other one? Same reference. Now this is reference value for the object. This is reference value for the object. Same reference here we are calling. How many times here we called here? No, 4 times we called here. But all 4 times here we are getting same reference. So bean is what there? The bean scope is what there? Singleton scope. That's the meaning of this singleton scope. Now observe carefully. In the same example, for the sake of your content here, now in place of this singleton, I want to use like what there? Prototype. In place of the singleton, I want to use what there? Prototype. Now tell me, then what we are able to get there? 4 times we are calling this get bean method. Same or different? Every time call of this get bean method here we are getting different bean object or not? But previously same object. Now this time it is what there? Different objects now. Got the difference between singleton and prototype now? That's enough. This is exactly the meaning of this singleton and prototype here. Points here we can understand. Okay. All right, sir. Now here we need to go for that simple code related example. If I give then by that we are able to finish this particular content. Okay, now let's see this one. Example here. What I'm giving there? Example for it. Now here itself I'm giving for singleton. No. Example in the bean tag. In the beans. Now here we are able to provide bean ID is equal to what ID here we provided here wish, and next one is like what their class is equal to simple com dot Durgasoft dot then what next one here after this beans dot or like wish is a bean, then after that scope is equal to singleton scope. If we provide like this, now we get in the Spring configuration file now what we have to provide there now, say for example wish one is equal to application context dot get bean of wish. Of course here what we required here typecasting is required. Here we can provide like what their wish like this. How many times here we have to call there? Multiple times here we have to call. 3 times here we called here with the 3 reference variables like this here we provided. Now for example if we display these values system.out.println of wish one Sys not outed println of wish 2. Alright, so now sys not outed println of wish 3. Like this. Now the same value here we can understand for the sake of you. ABC 1 2 3. That means wish at the rate ABC 1 2 3. In a singleton scope, same value here we are able to get. Right, so now this is about like what the singleton scope. Example I have given, similar example. Next one is in the case of this prototype, then what we are able to do there. Same thing, no? Then same configuration and everything is same here. But some modifications are going to be provided. First of all, the scope attribute value is like what their prototype. Now for this 3 times here we are calling this, no? But every time then what happen here, no? I want to say like what there A 1 2 3, like what there B 2 3 4. The next one is like what there C 3 4 5. Like this here we are able to get. So different objects at each and every like call of get bean method. Right, sir? Got it or not? So this is completed. But remaining scopes will understand there in a different module, not immediately. That's okay now. This is the basic awareness on like what their scopes now. Right, sir. After completion of this, I have a question now. What is my question here? Is it possible to define user defined scopes for the beans in a Spring framework? Up to know how many scopes can we provided? Can know maybe 7 number of scopes can we have seen. All these scopes are predefined or not? All the scopes are what they're inbuilt scopes and predefined scopes. But my requirement is what they're along with all the predefined scopes now. Is it possible to define our own scope? Say for example, for every thread I want to create a separate bean. Might be in Java applications we may create number of threads. For every thread I want to create like what their Java bean. This is my customization, my custom scope, my user defined scope. Possible or not possible? Yes, definitely it is possible. Definitely it is possible. Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible to define our own scope to the bean configuration, to the bean component. Yes, it is possible. But we have to use like what there some predefined library, or we have to use custom scope configurations in a Spring configuration file. What we have to provide there? We have to use custom scope configurations in the Spring configuration file. But how we are able to define the custom scopes? No, then we have a separate process for it that we have to understand clearly. Right, sir? Right. That topic I will cover on tomorrow. Tomorrow we will see that totally user defined scopes, customization over the scopes now. Right. And before come for the tomorrow's class there, everybody please have some topic like what there in core Java. Thread local. The topic is available in core Java. Try to complete it and come to the classes now. Already I discussed it there in the classroom, in the core Java classes, the thread local. The topic is available. So thread scope or thread local in core Java. Try to get some knowledge and come to the classes. Then we are able to understand our content in a very simple way. Of course, I'll discuss about the topic there in the classroom there tomorrow. But anyway, before that, if you have some idea, it will be very simple. The topic is from core Java, multi-threading. So everybody must aware about the topic there, right? That's all, guys. That's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining part. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
context application continuously. So it will already create the objects in the packet. So in the case of prototype, how it will
It will follow prototype rule. It will not create object.
when we call it, then it will, yeah, exactly. It will change its nature. Thank you. Yeah, just rewind to me tomorrow. I'll give that point. Yeah. Guys, then, yeah, then you may get some separate registration page, right? Narayan Patil. Yeah, in the first name, we have to give that ID number. In the second name, you have to write your original name. Yeah, Narayan Patil. First name, you have to give what their ID number. And the second name, we can write your name. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Right, sir. How to find internal implementation of scope attribute of the Spring framework? Yeah, that I will discuss tomorrow. Jayant Agarwal. So there comes any difference between singleton and application scope. Application scope is what their Abhishek. Application scope is what their entire application. That means for servlet context. Actually, it will come in web module for the servlet context object. Then application scope will come. But singleton scope is what there. For example, with the same class for the same bean class, two times you may provide bean configuration. Yeah, for the same bean class, two configurations we are able to provide. So that two objects are going to be created. Understand it now. For example, hello bean is available. So two times I will provide bean configuration, the spring configuration well with the different ID values. So definitely two objects are going to be created. So in that scenario, then what I am telling there, two objects are created, but that's not equal to like what their application scope. That definitely is equal to, it is a separated one. Okay. Yeah, there's a difference now. Design patterns course, no. In the core Java onwards, I'm taking some design patterns there gradually. So depending on the situation, I will cover the design patterns there in the part of the courses only. Not required to start any separate batch. Okay. Jayant. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot. Narayan Patil. Then I don't have that actually that option there. See, and to this number, send your pay slip now, or we will send that drive link to you, videos link to you. Narayan, just whatever the number I highlighted here, try to WhatsApp your like pay slip. Automatically, our people will send that link to you. Okay, take this number. Yeah, 7 p.m. React JS online. Let me talk, Jayant. Okay, thank you guys. Thanks a lot. Tell me tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll see the remaining content. Thanks a lot.